Yeah, I've got a general question that anyone can answer here. It's when I'm talking with customer support leaders who are traditionally handling human agent support. They usually have an in-house team, and then they're managing an outsource, one or multiple outsource vendors. The biggest fear I hear about large language models is not some minor inaccuracy, like you get a fact wrong about a product or service, but rather that something egregious would be said, and something that's highly offensive that someone could take a screenshot of and circulate around Twitter, and then that customer support leader could lose their job. Is that a realistic or a reasonable fear, considering the current advancements, or is that just totally unreasonable and should be discredited and disregarded altogether?
I'd say it's a risk. I'd say it's probably like that type of egregious output is what the LLM vendors are, working natively to prevent, like within the model. So, hate speech, things that are like very obviously wrong. I think there's different techniques and ways that they're going to be implementing filters. I mean, that's already the case, but you can hack out of those filters. I think anyone who's motivated enough will find ways to hack an LLM and to give it a prompt or an input that will output something bad. At the same time, at some point, it's becoming, it's a bit like you open developer tools in Chrome and you go and you change the content of a website locally. At some point, like, you don't own the LLM. So as a customer support vendor, if you're relying on something that's becoming a commodity almost, right? And where that thing has, barriers and things built in to prevent that type of speech, I don't feel like long term it's going to even feel like that much of a responsibility of a customer support leader if somebody manages to hack through and to get it to say something really bad. I mean, I think that's going to become kind of expected in a way, and it's the price, in my opinion, to pay to use like this commodity that everyone is going to have access to. But I know not everyone would agree with that.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a point there. I mean, I do think that that is a valid concern, and I agree totally that the LLMs are natively trying to prevent this, and everybody's kind of in a race to reduce the hallucinations, improve the accuracy, and there's so many different models now that are coming out. Many of them open source, many of them managed, and so I mean, I do think that the risk of this sort of egregious output is going to decrease over time, and pretty rapidly. But at the same time, I think for any business or any company that is adopting LLM-based solutions from any of the vendors, it's actually really critical to have some guardrails that are put in place over the output of the LLM, being able to make sure that the outputs of the LLM conform to a specific format, for example, which can be done through the prompt, making sure that, the output from the LLM, no matter what prompt was injected by, say, a user, is moderated or filtered for, egregious content. So making sure that there's like a final check before sending the response out, at least for those really bad cases. And what are some ways that you could do that final sort of filtration or content check? There's sort of several open source content moderation AI that many of them don't even depend on LLMs actually, that are pretty good. And then the other approach is, this is a bit controversial, but using another LLM to basically filter the output of the LLM to make sure that there wasn't some sort of really bad message being sent out.